mighty good evening. Lovely Sunday, this June 30th, last Sunday of the month. Decided to pop in here and do a last minute Sunday school that I didn't really have planned, but it's important. And I'm actually glad we did it because it's setting us up right. Sidebar. But welcome everyone. Welcome to Sunday school this evening in the Trader's Crib. I am super excited for this Sunday. For a few things. One, we are looking forward to a very hot week. Very hot week. Oops, I did not mean to open that. Sorry. A very hot week with red folders. It's the beginning of July. And then also with the way the chart looks, I figure we do similar charting, but different. Y'all gonna ride with me a little bit on this roller coaster, only to give us perspective. We're not really changing anything. There's nothing to change. The chart does what it's gonna do. But it's adding a level of adaptability and flexibility to our charts, especially in situations like this when we look at the monthly, right? But before we get into all of that this evening, right? Of course, we will get our mindsets right. Because today is our Monday. All right. As traders, Sunday is Monday. All right. Sunday is Monday. We begin the work week today. All right. The futures and Forex markets come on today. So that's when we begin our work. All right. We work 6 days a week. Okay. I just want all of you guys to get in that mind. We work 6 days a week. Yep, we do. Okay. It's a very interesting type of job, right? But that's what we do. It's just this is all for mindset. We have to tell ourselves different messages. But ultimately, we work 6 days a week and we love it. We do it with a smile on our face. I mean, last we checked, right? One of the sisters was traveling and still making the call. All of us, y'all be traveling, still making the calls. So we work every day. I love it. I love it. That's what's supposed to be, right? Work 6 days, rest 1. All right. Rest 1. So we'll get our mindset right. We'll do our fundamentals like we normally do. But today we're going to assess this upward work. So we're going to further trust ourselves and work on inner knowing, and our affirmations go like this for today. I trust my inner knowing and I am at peace with myself. I create more moments of stillness and silence, and I listen for truth. I am open to connecting with and listening to my gut and my heart's feelings, and I don't override them with my mind's logic. I practice meditation, prayer, and contemplation, right? And I love what it said. That's it. I love what it said about I don't override them with my mind's logic. My gut and my heart's feelings, I do not override with my mind's logic. Now, that is so hard to do sometimes, especially as women. We're women. We're women. We're woman. You know, women should really, I think women is supposed to be woman, like WOMB. Like they just took the B off. MAN. Because that's the true distinction between man and female, is the womb that we possess, whether we like it or not. We have to deal with it, right? I love it, Tanza. Listen, chill at the beach. Send pictures too of the beach and let us all go to the beach with you, because you are not in the United States, and I love it. I love it. So y'all keep traveling, keep sharing your pictures, because we love the motivation. But yes, I know it can be hard to do as women, to allow us to fully listen to our guts and our hearts and not allow our minds to override all of that. But it's something that can be worked on day to day. And I think trading helps us work on that, right? Because usually our first gut, that's what speaks to you first, right? And Disney made a great little short about it. God, I'm gonna have to find that Disney short and the name and the title of it and see if you guys can look it up or find it on YouTube, because it's a short that literally shows, his Disney shorts are all they're no words, and they're usually no more than like 5 to 8 minutes. All right. And they have really deep life lesson meanings in them. Sometimes it can be like 10 minutes, but no more, really short. And they get really deep life lessons. And this one in particular showed the conflict, an animation depiction between the conflict of the heart and the mind. Right. It showed the everyday struggle between the heart and the mind. Okay. So that comes out in our trading pretty much every day. It's like our gut is telling us what to do. Our gut is usually right. Our gut knows the way to freedom and success. And our mind is like, nah, cuz, right? All the theatrics. Okay. And that's the hard part, but we're working on that together. That's why the Trader Crib exists. And we're here for it. I love you ladies. And I appreciate the ride and the journey that I'm taking with you all. All right. That was motivation, inspiration, mindset for this Sunday. All right. Now moving on to fundamentals review, and let's look at the news and Forex Factory and what we have. Like I started out with a call preview. We have a hot week. All right. July 1st, the start of a new month at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We have ISM manufacturing. We'll come together tomorrow, but we'll come in around 9:15. Do a quick pre-market, right? Because we're all advanced pro traders at this day trading status, people. Okay. You guys are my VIP advanced. This is the advanced crew. All right. We're gonna come in here, we're gonna do a pre-market, and then we're gonna be right on time for the news. All right. And then Tuesday, July 2nd, we have Federal Chair Powell speaking in another country, of course, when it's this early in the morning. And he's going to focus on policy panel at this ECB forum in central banking in Sintra, right? He's going to, we'll kind of finesse a watching live. We usually normally do. So we'll start at 9 on that day, right? So we can get a decent pre-market in and be prepared just to hear what he has to say. It's right when the market opens. So we'll see how that does. I don't really have a speculation until tonight and tomorrow happens to kind of get a vibe on what they're cooking in the background. They'd be cooking, when Fed Chair Powell name shows up, they'd be cooking. So what is Monday setting up for Tuesday? Potentially. And for the end of the week, Friday, right? As we get there. So we'll follow up Tuesday with him speaking, with Wednesday with ADP non-farm employment change, unemployment claims, ISM services, and the FOMC meeting minutes all on Wednesday. We may do a little bit of an afternoon pop-up on that day. All right, you'll see in the week. The 4th of July, I will happily take this holiday as a break, a rest, a breath, right? Play a little bit of futures, a little bit of Forex, maybe that's all, and then come back in Friday for average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, and the unemployment rate, right? And that is like, hot week. There's a lot of stuff to pay attention to. As we move forward, and this month in general has quite a bit. I think we got beige book in this month. Let's just do it. It's the beginning of the month. We're entering a new month. So go on, do this review with you guys. We have, okay, of course, CPI, PPI, that's monthly retail sales. Okay, blah, blah, blah. That's normal news for us day traders. And then, but we come down to the end of the month, and lo and behold, we have the FOMC press conference, right? We have the FOMC press conference. I could have sworn, but maybe I was going too far out in the future. Hold on, let me make sure I wasn't before I speak on it. Nah, I thought I saw it. July 17th, beige book, right? And things like that to pay attention to as well this month. So mid-month beige book, by the end of the month press conference. All right, on the last day of the month. With it being in alignment with a new month week. So it's kind of like you got the FOMC press conference on the Wednesday before the non-farm employment change. All I'm just I'm just ready. I'm just ready. Whatever's gonna be, I'm ready. That's all I can say. Whatever's gonna be, I'm ready. Because that's an interesting little flux and mix, right? As we enter into the new school year as well and things like that. So we'll see how the shift takes us for the end of the month. But overall, it's gonna be a great summer. All right, July got a lot of stuff coming our way. Through the beginning of it's like the very beginning is hot and the very end is hot, and in the middle maybe we'll take a breath. I'm not sure, but we'll see. But we're here for it. All right, so that's Forex Factory for you ladies, and then we have CNBC. Schools here August 10th, okay? I know the early August, I know there's some states that are early August, so I'm aware of that, and that's why I'm like, it'll be an interesting little transition. As you most Northeast people, if I'm not mistaken, unless things change, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't live up there anymore. Usually go around Labor Day, closer to Labor Day, and or after Labor Day. So it just depends on where you are. But we all know that between August and September is back to school. So I'll just leave it like that. All right. Looking at CNBC, we have this little headliner, S&P closes lower Friday, but AI trade drives a 14.5% gain in the first half of 2024. All right. Other little headline news, record summer airline travel is starting, and so are the flight delays, blah, blah, blah. Just for those of you who like to trade Boeing, just keep your eyes out for Boeing being able to keep up. I'm going to speak positivity that Boeing is going to be able to keep up, and other planes are going to be able to stay in the air and keep up with the demand of flights and things like that. And then I'm going to pray for the airlines like Southwest to update their systems and not have crazy delays on things that shouldn't take airlines that many delays. Because for those of y'all who've been here for the long ride with me, know the trauma I went through when it comes to Texas and Southwest and that terrible snowstorm winter no more than like 2 years ago. Oh my Lord have mercy. But yes, the North Public Schools normally go back after Labor Day weekend. Yeah, private schools go back in August. Yep, that's what I just said. But somewhere between August and September, we all go back. They all go back. We all go back as traders because it's a different type of market usually during the school year. All right, other headlines. U.S. prosecutors meet Boeing crash victims as criminal charges decisions loom. Exactly. In France's Far Night National Rally seen leading in first round of snap election exit polls show. So this is into more international news. We check these headlines daily. You guys probably check them even more than I do sometimes. And so if for Forex side of things, that's my stance on it. It's really when you need to pay attention to international news more. Not saying that international news can't affect the U.S. market. We all should be paying attention, period. But as far as your direct effects to trading go, right, maybe a little more heavy on the Forex side than the stock market side, depending on what it is. All right, from here, we'll go to Benzinga. And Benzinga today, it's the weekend, it's Sunday, get the good stuff. But we have Goldman Sachs. I haven't refreshed in about a couple of minutes. That's not the button I meant to hit. Okay, Goldman Sachs still. All right, cool. Goldman Sachs casts doubt on exceptionally expensive AI investments by tech companies. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised. I know Goldman Sachs has their hands in with Apple. Apple credit card is ran by Goldman Sachs. So, hey, I own the Apple credit card. I'm aware of it. I love it. I own too many Apple things, so that's why I have it. It helps pay for itself in so many ways. But I understand that headline from a consumer perspective as well. So we'll see how that affects things, since we know that Apple had its whole like AI, we're gonna do all the stuff with AI, and it made the stock run up and do all that jazz, right? And Ooh, but it left too many fair value gaps to trust us it to stay up. So, ooh, right. And take your time with that. Any other headline news you guys want to bring up that may have taken place within the last couple days that you want to share? Kind of leave it open for discussion before we transition into the charts. Yeah, I'm not surprised. They had their whole glasses. So my thing is with the glasses, like not for the other glasses wearers in the crib, which is like half of y'all. There's this Apple. If y'all remember, I showed y'all the ad. Maybe you here, maybe you weren't. But anyway, when the Vision Pro goggles came out, is what I'm getting at. And I looked into, well, I don't want to have to wear these things if I have to wear my glasses. So Apple is also like with their working with the eyeglass companies to make prescription inserts for us four-eyed ladies. Okay, that's the word, whatever you want to call yourself. But hey, and they have them. They're additional, of course, we know this life. But I wonder, I always think about the tech, the AI, the strain on humans in so many ways, right? With some of it, as far as like the screen part goes, because we haven't my husband earlier found Amazon laid off so many people and replaced them with robots, and all the workers were standing outside of the Amazon building. Anybody else know about that but me? Please and thank you. Right? So it's coming. You see, it says reminds me of Star Trek. Which was my father's favorite show, still is. He like watches all the new Discovery, Star Trek, and all that now. Right? Like just love Star Trek. You watch Discovery too? Just saying, I should have known. I should have been. Oh, he said it was really good too. Now, see, I've been slowly kind of like, am I gonna get sucked into this Star Trek thing? Y'all killing me now. I gotta watch it. Yeah, because I've been literally because I got Paramount Plus. So I got Paramount Plus. So I've been looking at it like, all right, Randy, you gonna watch this because you hear everything you hear about it is good. You got dad on it, and of course, my trading sisters will be in on it too. So now I have no choice. Okay, I'm gonna press a button now. I'm gonna press, but y'all convinced me to press a button. I'm gonna watch it. But you like the older ones better? Okay, okay. I can. I mean, it's not like the original, right? Right? Because they're remaking Beetlejuice for reasons that I don't understand why. Anybody want to explain that? With the same actors?
Yeah, they're not, I don't think they're remaking it. That's her daughter. It's supposed to be her daughter that brings Beetlejuice back.
Played by Wednesday, conveniently.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great, but still. Um, okay.
Well, the reason
I'm gonna
why I
still
like
watch it no matter what, but I'm gonna still watch it, but I'm just like, we can still just originality a little bit.
Yeah, the reason why I like the older Star Treks, the one with Picard, I like that one because the guy who was in Reading Rainbow, I can't remember his name right
Yes,
now.
I know you're talking about black dude
Yeah,
with
he was
the
blind,
yes.
and they had glasses where he could use them and see. And it was like
Mhm.
really, because at first I thought he was like a cyborg, but there
Mhm.
was an episode where he had something happen. He fell, he had an accident, and his glasses were taken away. And then they were doing some things with like his eyes, and then they put the
I think I
glasses
remember
back
that
on.
episode as a child. Just in there, I ain't gonna lie. That's how much my dad watched the show.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It
Like I
reminds me
literally
of
watched
the
it a lot.
and it reminds me of the Apple glasses, like the
Yes,
way
that's
that
what I'm
they're
saying.
doing it. It's like, oh well, but if people who are blind and want to see, and if that's
Mm-hmm.
a good option for them, I think that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. It is a lot of. Yeah. So, because I know me and you both wear glasses, so we get it. That life.
And
So,
and the what do you call it is the ship is basically run off of AI when you think about it.
it is
The whole ship is
the
off of
whole ship.
AI. It's just that it's a AI where they have to tell it what to do in order for it to do it, but it can't harm people. It has that
Mhm.
safety flaw in it. So it's real interesting how our AI is gonna wind up.
I agree. It's gonna be it's similarly different. Maybe we'll see how it goes. Esther, I saw the new Cops too, and I literally said, "Now your old ass." Like that's
Seriously, his old ass is gonna be falling out of a
yeah,
helicopter and shit. Like,
like,
that's awesome. I'm very excited though. I'm still gonna watch it. You know that, right?
I agree, but it was just
He's funny,
like
funny. Sorry, he's funny though. He's still
he
funny.
is. He always has been. He always has been. But to see him in that realm, because he went more family for a while. He did some other things. And so I'm like, you gonna go all the way back to your Beverly Hills Cops days. Like,
The worst is if you see the trailers, the other actors from those movies are
I haven't
ancient.
seen it.
They're ancient. It's horrible. It's
I
terrifying,
haven't seen the
actually.
commercial. I only saw the ad that popped up for I
Those men
haven't.
did not age well. No, none of them aged well. It's very sad.
Oh wow.
It's very sad.
Oh
Yeah,
wow. Oh wow. So I guess for shits and giggles,
we're gonna
we'll
have to watch
tune
it
in.
just for fun. This market's giving me a reason to need to laugh. So,
And just in here saying the same thing. Y'all so wrong. Oh, they didn't need enough that. Hollywood's stressful. I'm gonna just say that. Hollywood's stressful. All right. Let's get into these charts, ladies. Let's do a monthly top-down analysis since we are entering a new month, and I am so excited for it because I really kind of want to do a fib on fib analysis because we got this deep bowl on the monthly, right? And it looks like it just kind of broke out and is doing its little handle, right? We got a perfect like cup and handle situation here on the monthly. On the monthly. I'm saying it one more time for the people in the back on the monthly. Okay. I have ES and Spire right next to each other, and we like the way this looks. Now, can it fall back a bit? Yes, it can. All right. As much as I'm excited for the potential bullish run pattern that we see among us, I do see the multiple fair value gaps below. And even though one is pretty wicked through and beaten through all the way through, and kind of has like a little bit of a breakout candle to it, there's still potential for it to kind of continue to fall backs. This is only like one little push out. I'm not sure how this consolidation wants to continue to finish. I want to take this one small little candle as a breakout, but I don't want to be too eager from this perspective, right? So I don't want to be like, oh yeah, all of July is just gonna run up and it's gonna be the next breakout candle. I'm not gonna say that. All right. We do have a lot of action this month, so we're gonna be aware. All right, we're going to be aware of everything, put it all together, and make sense of it all. We're going to say that, okay, we know since we do have a monthly neckline here that's already been retraced back and looks like it left it, that we could potentially find a level of great support and not fall any further, right? Not fall any further beyond 5,000. Right? We're at 55 right now. It's great, like $500 run up when we look at it from that perspective. But overall, it's, so that would be like the lowest from this neckline. All right. That price would find support and then continue to break up from here. All right. It would need to like turn around, fail, do something crazy. Like I said, this pattern looks really promising for it to stay bullish. So it'll really have to do something surprising. We can get anything in the market. We're ready for we hope for the best, but we understand that the worst can always be a month. So we are ready for it, which is ready. That if the market wants to drop, it's not the worst for us. We know how to short. All right. So we're just going to pay attention to signals when we see them. Okay. Right now, we don't really have any wicks down towards the bottom from the monthly perspective. So we're kind of in a good position to continue up. All right. We all see how the U also has formed this really ugly cattywop W looking thing where one leg's bigger than the other. That's okay. But the more recent or shorter leg, is the more recent leg, and it's higher. So the fact that it's going up is great. And then for it to start to form through a monthly fair value gap and then continue to come up is a great signal for it to do normal candlestick patterns just on a larger time frame. We also spoke last week of it being short-term bearish and long-term bullish. So this is more conviction towards your long-term bullish for my swing traders. Okay. This should really be helpful for my swing traders to see this happening with ES and SPY. Now, I am going to segue. I'll put the line for SPY right quick. So SPY would be finding support. I mean, if we come at the bottom of the fair value gap, that's 490. For those of us who love SPY, let me bring that up just a bit. So that's 490. Let me make it perfect for this monthly. And as you guys see, this fair value gap is literally pretty much, this one's SPY is a little different. You see the difference between the two, but and this one's because the continuous as well, but ES, it's coming close to that neckline. So for SPY, I will mark the second one just so you can have that level as you're continuing to chart. This lower where it closes the lower fair value gap, just in case it needs to come all the way back to the neckline for SPY. And that would help ES fall into the lower fair value gap down here, right? It does have a lower fair value gap, a very small one. And if it needed to do some crazy, I don't know it's a monthly candle y'all we talking about. So please keep that in perspective as I'm speaking here. We know candlesticks can take various shapes. And so I don't know what this month is going to be, but I want you guys to understand what's there. Now, and what could be held as support and continue to hold as support. So if we square off the fair value gaps accordingly, like that we typically do, we see that support. All right. Because this is like kind of breaking out, this is why I want to go from here to a fib on fib situation. So it's trader's choice at this moment. You can either keep these monthly lines for the fair value gaps and label them accordingly and then draw the fib. And if you have some lines overlapping, great. And that's what I'm going to do. If not, if you feel like it's too much because you understand how you chart with your Fibonacci, then you can just follow along with Fibonacci, because I am going to do more of like Fibonacci on top of Fibonacci as we come down on time frame. All right. And it's really because we're in this like all-time high long-term breakout, and I want a perspective for my swing traders, one perspective for my day traders, right? And then a perspective for my scalpers. Okay. So and of course the fair value gaps, you guys have the indicator. We're all, I think, using the same indicator at this point, or if not, drawing them. And I think we're good. So let's get into it from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to full screen. I'm going to do one chart at a time. I also want to take a peek at NASDAQ and Dow, right? And those are going to be our fundamentals today. And then if there's any particular tickers you guys want, you guys let me know what tickers you want. But I'm going to stick to S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Dow for this analysis that we're doing, okay? All right. So here we go. I'm going to label accordingly quickly, and we'll go from here. So the 51.99, and I'll make the line perfect, but I'll go ahead and label it, is our monthly fair value gap open. And then I want this little one too, I ain't gonna lie. Okay, so let's zoom, make it perfect. Perfect. Perfect for my cat people there. Okay, so that's 51.88 to 51, 50, 50. Nope, take that back. Coming closer, Randy. Man, can't see. 51.91, 50.84. That seems closer to what y'all got. And then you guys know we're all within a few dollars. Monthly fair value gap close if it comes down. How do you get the names on the chart, like the background line of yours? Yeah, I found that. Okay. How did I do that again? It was right here. So chart settings. So it was the chart settings for the whole chart up, upper right, right gear, chart settings. Go to canvas. All right. And then click watermark. And it's the watermark behind the chart. See, off, on. Boom. You're welcome. Um, it does kind of have its effect to it, doesn't it? So it's creative appeal, aesthetic. So
It's good when I have two of them together, like when you have yours side by
yeah,
side,
side by side.
it
Mm-hmm.
does it helps me not mix them up.
Because then
Thank
what you end up doing is you end up having to come all the way and make sure you look at the top again, and you're
Yeah.
so focused on your candles. So it's better to have it just right behind your candle. So
Yeah, thank
agreed.
you.
No problem. If anybody needs me to run that back, let me know. So here we are. All right. So monthly fair value gap, open monthly fair value close. I don't necessarily need to label this line because I don't expect price to get that far. I'll just mark it 49.97 as this little tiny one. And a line for me is good enough because I know I'm coming down on time frame. We know where the all-time high is. I'm not going to pull all a high resistance level with lines. I'm gonna let Fibonacci do its thing. So from here, we want to do a monthly Fibonacci, right? Let's experiment a little bit as well. All right. For this monthly Fibonacci, we're gonna take this first most recent or greater dip because I would say this is more of a flag. This consolidation that we have, our most recent consolidation and breakout, to me is more of a flag. So our most recent dip, all right, for terminology wise, the dip would be back here around, I'm looking at date October area of 2023. All right. This red candle, which is October 2nd, 2023, the bottom of that wick, okay, if we do wick to wick, we'll start down there and we can draw it all the way up to the next red candle where we consolidate. If you want to take it to the top of the next bullish candle, mine's blue or yours may be green, but you could take it to the top of the wick of that one if you want, because the next candle, last week's candle or last month's candle, is the true candle kind of breakout, kind of, because it's small. I would love it to be bigger, to be like, yeah, that's that breakout. But this could still be one. So just play. We're gonna play safe, just be modest with it. But you could take it to there just to give it that technically that high right before the breakout, that wick. All right. If we draw it like that, from like a low to high position, then from here, if it were to continue breaking up and out, and we'll center this a little bit better, we'll be coming to the 50, and that 50% is around that 59.84 6,000 range, right? From where price left on Friday, that's a doozy and will take some time, right? $396 up. But for those of you who like to play options with some time, right? Who'll be like, I'm just gonna buy leaps, my leaps people. I'm gonna call you guys by your proper name, who like to take contracts more than 6 months out. You guys are technically people who like to play leaps. And that's totally fine. So if you want to do that, that's what it would take. That's the mindset behind it. You see how many handles you would have to hold. All right. You see it there. But that's what it is from the monthly. Again, this is the monthly perspective, right? And we did speak about holding things out to the end of the year. This is a monthly perspective. Are we good there? Any other questions, concerns before I drop down? We get what we're doing? Keep an eye on the chat. All right. Coming down to the weekly. Our monthly Fibonacci leaves us like this. And now we're here at the weekly. We could go in and mark fair value gaps, but I'm going to pause because we're going to do Fibonacci on Fibonacci. There's going to be too many lines. I'm going to tell you that right now. The monthlies are fine. All right. Fine. But from here down, just wait and just see if you can see the levels this way, because you can both work. If you draw the lines in, if you layer the Fibonacci, they all work. It's just about how much your eyes can take. and how you want to look at it. So from here, the way I would draw this weekly Fibonacci, okay, so we're coming in a little smaller. All right, same psychology, dip to order block or dip to flag. What do they call it? Dip to flag, flag to dip, dip to flag, flag to dip. That should be a new thing. They call it swing home. Oh man, Trader's Crib, dip to flag. But I know I'll be coming up with stuff, dip to flag. I'm gonna figure out something. All right. Just write that note down. All right. So if I take the dip, this candle is April 15th, 2024. The bottom of the wick of that candle. And I'll be going to the breakout, right? Where price broke out for me, price broke out where this wick got higher than this one where it was consolidating. So I will go here. You can go between here and here is going to give you just a slight difference. I don't think either one is more right or wrong. When it comes to that, because you definitely don't want this candle. This is the breakout candle. Okay. So either one of these two could work just fine. This one aligns with the fair value gap. So if you like that, that works, right? Because then you kind of kill two birds with one stone. So I kind of like that. So I'm gonna go with that one today. That's how I feel. It looks pretty. So I like the way this weekly goes. And if we do low to high coming up, then this smaller Fibonacci. Now you guys see as I come down each time frame, the larger time frame Fibonacci extends further to the left of the chart than my shorter time frame one or the current time frame that I'm on. So that if you layer them, okay, let me just make a side note of this because I've seen me take two different time frames and then my Fibonacci's layer almost identical to each other. That's because you took essentially the same levels on different time frames because they probably looked very similar. And that's they either look similar or you had a low and that's where the tweaking comes in. So let's see how far we get here, but I just want to make that note for you guys because I've had it happen. You're like, wait a minute, Randy, it's the same. So because it's almost the same even here. So we have low to high from the weekly and the breakout. So this weekly 50% is 56.58. 56.58. Our monthly, right, was 59.84. Our weekly is 56.58. Now, if we measure from where current price left us on Friday, roughly, to that 50, we're talking about 138. All right, well, we know how fast the S&P 500 can move in a day. So it is likely that this could be a couple days and it can move this amount, right? This could be one solid weekly candle back to, could be. I don't know, from the weekly perspective, the way the candles look, I'm not sure about that. But if we did, we may need a bounce first before we break up and do that move. But right now we're talking about just the dollar move in perspective to ATR. So this is about 140 or so. I think I have ATR here. The weekly ATR is 125. So see, about a week move. It's a weekly move, right? And I just want to keep things in perspective for your psychology right now. That's what we're focused on. Okay. Now, with the way the candles look and the fact that we have a little doji and it looks like it kind of matching high, kind of tweezer topped it, it's a real big emphasis on the kind of because it does not have to come down. It's all about how it wants to play out, but it has a feel that it wants to turn. Usually these pins like this usually will follow with a candle that will try to at least test the top of this. Test the top of the weekly fair value gap. So if you want to mark the top of that weekly fair value gap, just so you know where it is, it's target level, right? 54.88, right? Because we know price loves to kiss on top of fair value gaps before leaving. Now, getting them through the fair value gap, that's another trick. But getting them to touch on top, that's a pretty guaranteed trade. So 54.88 coming down with ES for this week to even bounce back up and continue up. I mean, the whole distance, say if it came back down and then came back up all the way to hit the 50, which is up here, That's 169. So that may be stretching a little bit, depending on the volatility and slippage of the red folders, pound speaking, non-farm ADP, all of that this week as well. Right? ATR 125 to get to the negative 50 is a 160, 170. Let's call it 170. Okay, so you got a 125 ATR, about a $170 move with including retracement. Okay. All right. I hope I'm not losing anybody. Everybody should still, we should be seeing this chart like this now. Like, we should know what retracement is probably necessary before, like, within each candle. I mean, we do things when we don't expect it. But overall, I feel like we should be thinking this way, ladies. Yes, yes. All right, now daily. Okay. So we see how the daily looks. Look where that weekly line is. God, it couldn't be in a more perfect place. So I had my purple lines last week for those of you remembering that damn gap. So, and then it's flagging like this. Okay, so how many flags have we seen do sporadic yoga moves? I guess I would say like crazy. Let's stretch a leg up here and the downward dog down there, and then I don't remember what the name of this move is here. I don't know, but all I know is that it can really bounce when it's flagging, and this gap is too close for comfort as far as a move on a daily. Okay, so it's already facing down. For it to hit that line from where it closed is $30. Oh, that's day trade. That's one day in the market. That's a day where it's like, I'm going to do a $30 move, but I'm going to close like I did a $2 move. Like, I'm just going to wick down there and come back up. Like, you don't know how this is going to go. So if you're going to do it, take it the first time and just be done with it. And if it continues to bounce around and chop, at least you got it on the first time. You don't know how it's going to move. It's daily. It has to break below certain levels and things like that when we come down to the 2 hour. Oops, I didn't mean to move that. Let me lock this because I already can feel it in me bones, and I'm gonna be moving that damn Fibonacci. Okay. So yeah, just take your time with it as far as a short-term pull. And remember, short. But it is likely because it's a weekly fair value gap entry. So we can go ahead and label that. Open. Okay. So how we want to play, I have no idea this week, ladies. This is not looking like a promising direction, except for down a little bit more for me. But y'all know me. I have a very, very short selling eye. I can't really see it's gonna just do a little fall, and then it does the fall. But lately it's been missing me by a couple of dollars. Like, you son of a gun. So here we are. All right, daily Fibonacci. I don't know if we need one based on the way the fair value gaps look and the candlestick patterns and the way the monthly and the weekly Fibonacci are lining up. I don't want to overkill it, so I think we're cool there. Of course, you can mark off a few other fair value gaps if you want to identify like wicks and kids and things like that, or necklines. Like if we zoom out a little bit and we look at the daily and we see how this is a nice U pattern and things like that, it coming back down to test this full neckline before coming back up again. If you're looking at it like that, you can mark, use your horizontal line and mark those levels. But from here, I'm gonna drop down to the 2 hour, and I am going to see if I can do another decent, smaller day trade scalper fib from this perspective. So from here, I love my 2 hour, my fib would go from this candle, which is Friday, May 31st at 2 p.m. the bottom of the wick of that. All right. Or so. Is it 10 p.m., 2 p.m.? Where am I looking at? Yeah, 12. Godly, Randy. 2. All right. And then come all the way up to where price is kind of rounded. And that will be like that all-time high almost area. 55.87, which is candle June 20th at 2 a.m. from my perspective, from Eastern Standard Time, right? So it's all about how you have your chart time frame set up. So here's my third fib. So my third fib, the smallest one, taking it up to its 50, it actually brings us like all the way up here. Beyond. Yep, it does. Wait. Wait, yeah, there's my red line. It's blending in with this white line. And then beep, 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 beep. Yep, because I'm looking at all my shorter lines. You see how they cut off all right here. And that negative 50 is all the way up here, 57.44. So look at that. I'm gonna measure. Wow. So yeah, that would have to really move. So this is interesting. Hold on, let me contemplate a little bit on this and how I want to play this. Of course, that's like far, far. And I will probably at this point take the okay, so this is great perspective. Okay, so this is how I would say it. I would, if I'm scalping, day trading at the computer, in front of the computer, gamer girl status, all right, gamer girl mode, we're coming up no higher than like that negative, back up to the zero if it even comes back up that way, right? Because the 2 hour in general has these little fair value gaps toward the bottom. It can continue to press down there and push through this fair value gap, especially the way it kind of fell from up here. It didn't quite make the cradle that we needed to make or cup and handle in order to, be a bullish pattern. It came right up to where it just needed to decide. Scooped the fair value gap, which is where I made profit kind of up here. It kind of felt like it would not go further than meeting the high. So I literally got out at 55.82 and like 25 cents to be exact. And then I got the hell out of Dodge and I just left the market alone for the rest of Friday because you see what it did. So, and there was no way I was going to stress myself out or worry about shorting it back down based on all the chomp at the bottom. And we didn't quite come all the way back down through here. We bounced. And so now that we have a better big fish eat little fish, maybe we can finally eat the little fish. Goddamn. Like it was a nice little fake up run and I took every coin in it, every coin. And then now we'll see what the market does as far as tomorrow goes and see if we want to scalp out the bottom here a fair value gap. And if that's the case, depending on how we do it, we could want the whole order block, which could potentially come all the way back down here, which would be that, oh, look at that weekly fair value gap. Ain't that something? Isn't it funny how that weekly fair value gap open is just right there, order block? Oh my goodness, it's just right there. It's just right. It's just perfectly sitting on that line. Like it's just I'm just saying. So if it takes the whole block, maybe the weekly fair value got open. It's just a target. It's just a clean target. MES, where my futures ladies at? Come on, ladies. Come on, ladies. I know y'all see it. All right. So we'll leave it there. Go from there. All right. So I actually like the way this fib on fib analysis kind of goes because I have multiple fib levels depending on time frame. And it's keeping price movement in perspective, to be honest with you, with your fair value gaps, which you guys in order blocks, which I know my eyes are getting really comfortable with the fair value gap and order blocks to where now it's like, where's price really trying to go within that. So Fibonacci helps, especially since we're at this all-time high level breakout. So you just, as soon as it switches up on you and is ready to catch the next breakout level, you need to be ready. So Fibonacci. All right. I know it was a little lengthy, ladies, but it was a new concept, essentially, to layer it like that. I haven't done that with you guys like that, but something just hit me to do it. I hope it works. If it was too much, let me know. It's too much looking at it from this perspective, but looking at it from the daily and the 2 hours, actually not so bad on my eyes. Based on all the other lines I usually put on my chart, it's really not bad. So I like it. I can do the same thing for SPY if you guys like. Or we can go on to Dow and Nasdaq and then go into the other tickers, right? So because S&P SPY similar, but you guys see what kind of levels I took from like the significant dips. Go ahead.
Randy,
Yes.
if we don't do the spot today, can we do it tomorrow before the market opens?
Yes, we can. I can do the whole
Okay.
same thing. I'm just trying, I'm looking at time. I know how I'm kind of going over tonight, but I'll get it in. All right. So the Dow and the Nasdaq, because their charts look extremely different. All right, they're not in that same, this is just not exactly the same. We have a bit of a, it's just, the Dow is just, yeah, I don't like the Dow, y'all. I know it's cheaper to trade. I just don't like the way to move. It's just, I don't know. I was bit by the S&P 500 bug. I don't know. So this monthly perspective, we haven't wicked like all the way through this little fair value gap. So if we were to come down to the first monthly fair value gap, that's 37,236. Right? If price was like, I want to finish out the first fair value gap, which looks feasible based on this pattern. Now, we could get lucky and we could just rest on top of here and stay kind of uppish. But we need to keep our eye out on that level because it may or may not. It's up to the big boys at the top, right? And we gonna come in strong with this pussy power and show them what's up. All right, take all that money. So from here, I like it. Now we can go and do another Fibonacci because again, we see how it's really forming these order blocks to break up. So again, most recent dip the flag. I mean, that really is kind of working. So far right now with this market structure, dip the flag. In a bull market run, we're going to Fibonacci dip to flag. We have to be under certain market conditions, I think. All right. So I took that from October 2nd to April 1st. Monthly Fibonacci on Dow, that brings the negative 50 all the way up to 44,000, right? And then we, of course, understand how the fair value gaps for our support. That's why I'm more focused on the upside. It's not saying it can't pull down, but I'm trusting that you guys understand that fair value gaps, how fair value gaps move to help you gauge how to take profit on the short-term scalp downside. But I want to stay focused on where the market may be taking off too, because that's usually where the majority of our money lies. So if it's planning something to come up here, we notice the fair value gap potential fill as it comes all the way up to 44,000 area for the Dow. I can come into the weekly. All right. The weekly is a little more choppy to me and it's going a lot more sideways. So to take levels from here are going to be a little interesting. To make it real short term, I will want to do it within the consolidation that it's in, to just be aware of where it's coming up to right before a breakout and things like that. That's one way to think of it. It's up to you on how you really kind of want to play that from here. So if we took this dip down and it looks like it's making a W at this level from the weekly, I ain't gonna lie. And take that right back up to, I would take it, this is technically the high, so, but it's kind of behind where you went to the low. So, that's where it gets, I don't know if I'm gonna do this one. I don't like it. Let me go to the daily. I don't think don't force it. Let's see. It does look like it's making a W up here. Do y'all see that from the weekly perspective? Do y'all see how it's chopping around right here? and it really could potentially continue to break out as such. But we know it's tight, so we want to be careful. So I like the daily fib better. So we'll skip weekly on this one. Each chart's different, depends on how it lines up. We can take this lowest wick here and come up to the high like this, right underneath, and take it. That's kind of similar to what we were about to do, but it gives you a little bit more perspective, because price dipped back down and then it's coming back up. It didn't quite all the way come back down. So this will give you that gauge fib to fib that I was saying on how it's coming back up. And then of course, once it breaks out, you have all these levels in between till you get to your next weekly level. So you have all these daily levels in between. So the daily 50 negative 50 would be 42,000, right? So if you were, I would say weekly swing trading, bam. Weekly swing trading, that could probably be a better goal as you take day by day, depending on the volatility, things like that. But that will have to really come up there. We know we have to break these highs first for Dow. But it has a lot of potential to do the next fib to 23 to the 0 and see how it goes from there, because it looks like 2 W's from here, right? And I'll leave the Dow like this. I won't go too much further because I don't actively trade it. I'll just give you guys perspective. If you have a question on it, I can do the more detailed analysis. You just have to ask me. All right. From the NASDAQ perspective, okay, so NASDAQ is like more like the ES, and it's a little more like broken up and out, okay? So that same dip would apply here, all right? It doesn't have as deep as order blocks as the ES does. So your retracement can be assumed to be a little more shallow with less fair value gaps, right? So but when we see everything here, we can mark this one if you really wanted to mark this lower one like we did on ES. All right, at the 16,426 level. And as it breaks up to the negative 50, it's going all the way up to the 21,500 level, 526 to be exact. And then if we came down here to the weekly and did the same thing, let's see what the weekly got for us. Well, we can do the same thing with the weekly. And then maybe the daily, this one's cooperating a little bit better. Right? Like ES was. And this negative 50 is now at the 20,000. So that can be a short-term move, right? We're right on top of this order block from the weekly fair value gap, excuse me, from the weekly perspective. So how we choose to break out of it, right? Bounce around it, things like that. We just kind of bounced around right down here, broke out. So we'll see how we want to do, how many more weeks it wants to dance before it breaks out. And then if we come down to the daily as well, we could potentially do one more fib from this low order flag, and this will be a flag to dip reversal-ish. I don't even know how to explain that one. I'm just gonna leave that alone. I'm not gonna try to force the slang. I'm gonna just go from the general low to high on this one, but it's what I got. Friday, May 31st to Thursday, June 20th is that fib. And the futures market just came on. And we see that our negative 50 from here going up is about 21,000, back at the 21,000. Golly, I hate it. This is why I gotta lock certain fibs. All right. But we see what's going on, and we see how we have the test. Excuse me, y'all, while I try to stretch this. Potential, more chop, and figure out if we want to press further down to fill this fair value gap, especially since we tweezered off the bottom of it. And we're pushing in a way, and we kind of emmed in a way that could bring us back down a little bit here. I definitely see it again short term. When we see the long term, we see the big cradle, and we just need, because we're in the formation of the handle from the monthly perspective, we're in it. So please be careful, ladies. This explains why it's tight to trade. Okay. It explains why it's tight to trade. All right. Because we're in that longer term consolidation. Right? All right. From here, what you guys want to look at? Of course, I know SPY. I can do SPY right quick and then go. If you guys want. And then, of course, you guys, we're meeting pretty much every day this week. So whatever we don't cover here Sunday school, as far as time, we definitely get it in on a call if you have specific questions. Once the market has opened, once data has released, things like that I cannot control or predict what it's going to do right now. We just need the data to happen. And then we can come in and further assess, okay, well, since it's here during pre-market, right? During pre-market hours tomorrow morning, then I can better assess, okay, well, what's cooking with it today, tomorrow, and then what other headline news we may get over the weekend. So you never know what happens with the London and Asian markets, right? All right, so let's do SPY monthly, and then I'll let you guys go from there. NVIDIA and XOXO, got it, Esther. All right, let's do SPY real quick, and then we'll do it. We have till 6:30 at the latest, guys. All right, so we put the lines as far as fair value gaps go on SPY. Let's do Fibonacci. So same thing, dip the flag in this case. We're going to dip to the flag. And then let me do a wait. Let me not. All right, here we go. Let me do the wait to wait on here this week. So what I got? October 2nd to May 1st. All right. And that puts our negative 50 to 595. All right. That's bringing it up to 595. That is a lot of theta to wait through. Okay. I feel a lot of theta, the way my brain is set up. All right, let's come down to the weekly and do the same thing. Let's go from Monday, April 15th to Monday, June 3rd for the next fib, layered fib. And that puts the next negative 50% Fibonacci at 5580. All right, from the weekly level. I like 560 a lot, actually. It's really, it's a good target. And then let's come down to the daily, because the weekly looks like it kind of wants to turn around or at least bounce off this fair value gap. So let's mark the top of that fair value gap. That's 541. All right. So if you're going to short it, if you're going to short it or put it down with puts or short it, however you want to do it, 541. Please do not overstay your welcome on the short side. Okay, ladies, as we see what's taking form here. We do have the gap. All right. So that weekly fair value gap is right in almost alignment with that gap. So it's perfect. And it's great. So it's really about ES. SPY, are you coming for the gap? Yes or no? Give us sometime tonight. Yes. Let us know overall what you're trying to do so we can get on with our lives. All right. For Monday, we'll keep an eye out. So from the daily perspective, I don't want to fib from here. It feels like it would make it a little crowded. I'm gonna come down to the 2 hour, and I'm gonna come from right under that gap, like the order block that's right under the gap, to right above the gap where it's kind of teetering over, leveling out. So to be exact, that would be the wick of July, Lord, Randy, June 11th, I'm saying 2 1s, June 11th, Tuesday, June 11th to Thursday, June 20th. All right. Tuesday, June 11th to Thursday, June 20th. All right. And that puts our shortest term fib pretty much around the same level as that daily one. So that 55.60, I guess that's why I was feeling that way. It just feels right. It feels right if it's gonna pop up there. Again, we see how it looks. We see what ES is doing right here. So we're going to probably stay out and stay patient and wait for a clear signal if SPY is either coming for. I'll do a side-by-side view now that I have both charts charted. So if I do the 2-hour SPY, all right, let me do daily. Okay, daily SPY versus daily ES. We see what's happening right now with ES. We see how SPY has the gap. So if we want to take this gap out, we can take this gap out and then continue up from there. But again, this fib on fib layering was to be prepared for the upside, ladies, as prices pulling back short, right? But really wanting to continue up potentially a lot longer. I'm really going for the gold on some of these moves. And so just to better prepare our chart and we don't have to be at the last minute looking for potential highs. We'll do a top-down analysis from the top of the month, get an idea of just how far price can go from Fibonacci and take it from there. Journal those levels so we can understand if we remove them for whatever reason or move them around due to the candlestick movement, we can make note of just, what we research. So I would just jot it down, those levels. Okay. All right. From here, SOXL on the video. I'll start with a video. We'll do a monthly. We'll clear the chart. We'll do a monthly. All right. NVIDIA has this exponential curve going on. From the monthly perspective, it was just like, I took off days ago, months ago, years ago, damn near, and I just haven't been stopping since. That's how it kind of looks. And so I don't know where NVIDIA from the monthly level is going to find true support or make some better level of support. I really don't know. And it's very nerve-wracking from this perspective. I agree. It's very nerve-wracking because it can follow, it can really come down. Because it's, the monthly fair value gap closes. Oops, excuse me, get my line. All right. So we have a monthly fair value gap from 111 to 92. 92 is definitely not where we want to be. Not even close. We're going to pray and hope that if it does come back down this way to test this, because God, I don't like the fact that this is like an inverted hammer on the monthly. I don't like that at all. That looks like it's going to come down and definitely press into this fair value gap. It definitely gives me that feel. I would love for it to do something different and prove me wrong. But I believe that I could probably find a level around this wick on the monthly and around the close of this candle that may be able to keep price from going all the way down to 92. Right, one of these two from the monthly level. That's all I got. So we'll have to come in and keep going. If it were to continue to break up, right, and it's just like, nah, I'm just gonna keep going up from here. Golly, how would I even draw a fib? Kind of the same thing, I guess. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Dip the flag, I guess, a little bit here. It's smaller, but I would take this dip all the way back here from October 2023. Right. The second, and then I will come up to yeah, I'll go to the bottom of the fair value gap on this one. That smaller candle because it's just short. You can kind of, like, again, it's one of those, like, play with it, see what you like. It's just because it aligns for me with the fair value gap, which I think it's kind of safer to do. And then from there, we have already chucked through the -50, so that's just not gonna work. So we're just gonna have to scratch out. We're just gonna scratch out. Okay, we're just gonna try again. So we're gonna come down to the weekly. And we are going to do a weekly fib. Let's do a weekly fib. Because I don't like the way that one happened at all from the monthly. So we're going to take, let's try Monday, April 15th to Monday, June 17th. So if NVIDIA were to keep going up, that puts us at 172. You know, if you have the courage to hold NVIDIA that long. Right? That's the doozy there. And then the retracement back down, the 50% is at 108. And it got that abandoned baby in it. So one fair value gap will be closed at the 38%, 115. And that could lead into that gap and that abandoned. It's not a full abandoned baby, but y'all see it. Y'all see this candle right here. That kind of looks death-defyingly available to create new support around this area, which is about how it wants to do it. So let's come down to the daily. And ooh, the way that Fibonacci drew, from here, I actually probably wouldn't draw another fib. I would put other lines in to see the gaps since we have so many. We just have too many gaps. So, because there's a gap right here at 118. The gaps to the upside, 127 to 130, 130, yeah. And that's just because that's finishing out the abandoned baby. Of course, it has gaps below, but it needs to break the 111. So we'll wait to see how that even may or may not happen. And I really right now feel that NVIDIA is just kind of stuck a little bit because they got an FU candle up and an FU candle down. I don't know what the hell he's doing. So it's kind of like, and then with a gap right there, it's like, you're just gonna do us like that. That's how you're gonna treat us. Why are you gonna do us like that? So I do think it can come back around and try to continue up like the headlines. Oh, AI 14%. If we can keep going with the AI rally, right now I think it is an exciting time for us to try new technology, expand our minds, expand new ways. I think it's just the feeling of all of us as a collaborative. So I could potentially see our AI boom leading us into the next bull market in so many ways with the way AI is going, and it pushes all of our sales. We got those automatic, self checkouts, and sooner or later we're gonna have arms at the self checkout lines. Like I can already see it. I can totally see it. So like, we'll just see how it goes. We'll just see how it goes. But I think this looks great for NVIDIA to come to 130. I do, even though this candle looks like it's coming down, I still feel like it's overall trying to come up. It's just figuring out how. The 118 to 111 is really where I'm eyeing to see how it either falls through there, if it's gonna fall through there, to make a reversal, saying that on the monthly, we do know it's like it does have that. So that's a note that you want to write in your journal. And NVIDIA does have that inverted hammer on the monthly. And so you want to be careful in just how the next candle is going to form against that. One candlestick pattern is not usually enough, but it can sometimes allude to the next move. So just take your time with it. XOXL from there, or Esther before I leave. And if you have any other particular questions about NVIDIA before I leave this, go to
I'm just hoping it decides to pick a freaking direction, preferably up in the
it
near
look
future,
it
because
got a up
I feel like
vibe.
all the economic data might help push if the data comes in and the talking heads say, well, this gives us more hope for cuts this year, that might let, the heavy borrowing companies like tech be able to be like, okay, we can run up again. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, it needs something to push it in one direction or the other.
It-
It's
that
definitely
part.
consolidating. It's
Mhm.
consolidating here. So, I mean, the chart makes sense why it's consolidating here, but I
does.
hate that abandoned baby, and I hate that those gaps on both sides. It's just making me want to kill somebody. So
It is. It's literally on both sides.
making me want to
It's
daydream,
like, can't do nothing about it. It's just like, So we're just in for the ride for this week. We got a lot of data this week. Let's just see if it's enough to help NVIDIA specifically do something.
Let us pray. Yeah, seriously. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, SOXL. Do we need a chart rechart SOXL? How does it look?
The chart looks really similar to NVIDIA too.
Because SOXL lines are not that bad. We have like no fair value gaps. Y'all see that? We have like none. There's like no fair value gaps. And SOXL now, right? If we were using SOXL as an indicator of what NVIDIA would do next, that worked out for us one time, but we could have got lucky. That worked out for us with earnings. Like, and earnings may be the only thing we could do to use that. That may be the trick with NVIDIA earnings. Like, use SOXL and find the clue. Like, if XXL got something, then maybe NVIDIA, that may be it. All right. But right now, with SOXL, the thing that I like about it is that it has to get to the top of this monthly candle. It has to. I don't know how it's gonna get there. It may kick and scream. It may kick, scream, fight, pull teeth, all that. Just pull your hair out. I mean, just all that. 68, okay? It has yet to finish the baking candle. We came through the fair value gap, which is great. All right. We wicked through, and it did its thing. Wicked through, it came back a little bit, but it took a couple, this is a monthly perspective, but it still followed the same rules that if it wicks it up further above, it's going to come back and keep going. And it has been doing that. It's just a monthly candle. All right. It's doing it. It's a monthly candle. It's doing it. Emphasis on the doing it, like right now. It's just a monthly candle. So at this point, right, we got the consolidation and the potential continuation to keep going because it's all the way up here and it still has not finished. It's right under, it's right under here and it still hasn't even got there, 67. All right. So I do believe SOSL can come all the way up here at 69. I really, really believe it. And if the AI boom is what we all in our hearts believe it will be, then this should go the way it looks like it's going. It most of the time, just even like we saw on Friday, even if this pattern fails, it's still going to test the top before it fails, just like we saw on Friday with ES. So is it gonna come to 69? Yes. Is it a painful ride? Yes, if you don't have enough time. Do I think for those who are able to ride it up a certain amount, get out, and now it depends on where you're at in the contract. I've always taken my time. I've been preaching take your time with SOXL just because I know I play shorter term contracts. But if you can afford to play with more time, that's just the best thing to do. Or your shares, which everybody should still have their shares because this is because from where we bought our shares, this is still profitable. We have not lost money like that. We have played around, yes, but it's not been nothing detrimental based on where we got in. And if we take this up to 60, 69, 70, we will be perfect. So it can run up there. I would definitely probably set the take profit order at the 69.14. I don't care what position you're in, whether it's stocks or options. It's just that's a monthly level. So don't be sleep. Okay. It's a monthly level. So that's a great target to get out and it'll bounce there. We have from the daily perspective, XOXL looking like it's finding its support down here to potentially come back up. It conveniently wicked into the fair value gap and did not finish it. Isn't that nice? So what's next? Can it bounce around? Does it have a similar vibe as NVIDIA, yes, from this perspective, but the unfortunate thing about NVIDIA doesn't have that previous data that XOXL has. And so again, here we are. Keep holding us to keep holding, because XOXL does have that data that just kind of helps. It's just a doozy on getting it up there, man. It moves how it wants to move, and we can't do nothing about that. But if we can get it to come back around this month at least, contracts, most of us are holding on to July 19th, so we need it to do a move this week. If you're in anything for July 19th, okay, I would highly recommend being out of that contract by the end of this week, please, unless things are just crazy in your favor and it's just on the up and up and up and up and up, okay? As far as P&L, but if not, then exit July 19th positions, reposition for better theta, because this is where theta is going to kick it up a notch. Once you start to get in that under 30-day, especially the close to 2-week time frame, under 2 weeks, theta will start to kick your behind. And so play Monday out. All right, we'll see how Monday go. If you feel the charge really say, and I know things can psych out, guys, but I'd much rather you live to trade another day and get back in flow with the market than to hold too long. And I don't want any of us putting more money back in the accounts. I want you to trade your account back up with skill and finesse. Can that be a 2024 goal? Don't refund the accounts. The challenge, no refunding. The no refunding challenge. You must maintain your capital. You must not blow out your account. Right? The no refunding challenge. You can make all the extra money on the side that you want, but you can't put it back in your trading account. You need to
you actually, it's like
discipline
you heard
yourself
me.
to trade that back up.
It's like you heard me, because I'm literally sitting here going, oh, I could put another $500 back in my
No,
account.
you're not.
Honest to God, that's what I was talking about to myself before this call. That's hilarious.
That is hilarious, because no, I've disciplined myself for that for like the last year, y'all. Like, you gotta at some point say, I'm not gonna refund it. And I'm good enough to trade it back up. I know life happens, and maybe that may not be the case for everybody at every moment in time, but I would challenge you, because when you put that in your mind, you tend to stop, take breaks that you need to take to keep you in the game. Because if you go too far, then you're out of the game. And at least if you say, I'm not going to refund, then you say, I'm going to keep myself in the game. And you keep enough capital to take the positions you would like to take. And even if it come down a little bit on capital, you can come down, but you're in the game. You don't want to take yourself completely out of the game. Boom. Because you have the skills to make it back up. It's just when you get the account down, your nerves get extra rattly. That's the challenge right there. That's what you got to put under control, because if that's happening, if your account gets too low and you're too nervous to trade, that's what's going to keep you from probability of trading, because you haven't addressed that emotion. You haven't addressed that. You shouldn't feel that way. If any account has at least $200 in it, God damn it, that's at least one contract on SPY completely out of the money. I don't want to hear any type of excuses, because I've done it. So you can't tell me nothing. Nothing. I have had the account at $200 something. I have taken a SPY contract at $79 and grew that account back up one contract at a time. Bull crap. I don't want to hear nothing. If you got at least $200, I don't want to hear nothing. So if you have not blown the account under $200, do not refund it. All right. That's my message for this evening. All right. So I'm gonna leave you with that. You guys, if you have any other questions, you guys can hop on and say anything, but say whatever you guys gonna say. Yes. All right. It's almost 6:30. I'll let you guys go for the evening, but that's the mantra for the week. If you have at least $200 in the account, you are not refunding it. You are controlling those emotions and you are building that account back up. If I did it, you can do it. I understand, Kim, and that's fine. But then only put enough in to put you back at 200 then. Oh, I'm at 200, now I'm gonna put another 1,000 in. No. Like, okay, if you under 200 and you're at $80, then only put in 120 and work it. So I'll leave you guys with that. Push yourselves, challenge yourselves with the discipline of our emotions. We got this, ladies. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Take care, trade safe, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Ciao.